If you're going to be sailing on Utopia the Seas soon, there are some things that you will hear in the video today that you likely will not hear in most cruise prep videos that can truly impact your cruise experience, especially if you're traveling with a multi-generational family. Hi, I'm Nikita, a cruise travel specialist with over 10 years of experience traveling by land and by sea. Today, I'm going to be sharing my top 10 reflections based on my recent cruise on Utopia the Seas from questions that I've received from family, friends, and clients about my time on board. So the first question is, would you stay near the port again before your cruise? I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, probably no. But I say that with this caveat. If I was traveling by myself or just with a partner, I probably would potentially stay near the port. If I was more concerned about, I had really early boarding time on the ship, then I probably would stay again in Port Canaveral. But where our experience was is that we actually felt there was really not a lot to do in Port Canaveral, and we would have preferred to stay in Orlando. I did travel with my mom, who's in her 70s, my brother, who's in his 40s, and I'm in my 50s. So we felt that we might have had more to do if we stayed in Orlando, and it is a 45-minute to 60-minute ride to Port Canaveral. So would I do it again? I'll amend my statement to this. I would potentially, but likely, if I was with my family again that I was traveling with, probably not. We'd stay in Orlando. The next question is, would you pre-order bottled water again? I would say no. And you have the option usually of ordering a 12-pack or a 24-pack, depending upon how much water you likely will drink. We did order a 12-pack. My brother also, for his room, ordered a 12-pack as well. We actually ended up leaving a lot of water behind because when you're on the cruise ship, if you bring your own reusable water bottles, you can really get ice and water, at the different beverage stations that are throughout the ship. So I don't necessarily know if I would need that many bottles of water. So if I, when, not even if, because I've sailed again, but, would I do it again? Probably not. I probably would not get a 12-pack of water. Would I recommend it for you? It really depends on how much water you tend to drink. If you're a heavy water drinker and you prefer to drink bottled water, then you might want to do it. But the water bottles are very large. They're probably like the 24-ounce water bottles, and they give you 12 of them. And our cruise was only, I think, was 4 nights, 5 days. So we ended up leaving a lot behind. The next question is, was the drink package worth it for you? Now, everyone on the sailing with me, my mom and my brother, we all got the refreshment package. As you know, or maybe some of you don't know, when you're sailing with someone in the same room, typically you have to get if one person gets a beverage package, the other person in the same cabin has to also get the beverage package. So me and my mom did share a cabin, and we both ended up getting the refreshment package. Now, the refreshment package, I have a list here, includes things like the Coca-Cola freestyle machines. These are in all the different locations throughout the ship, like in the Windjammer and different other beverage stations that they have. And like there's one near Sorrento. So they're all across the ship where you can actually there's a souvenir Coca-Cola cup that they provide that you can put in the machine. You can get actually water, soda, all kinds of drinks. They're refreshment drinks. Refreshment package also includes canned and fountain sodas, bottled still water, and sparkling water. It also includes coconut water, fresh squeezed juices that I did partake of, smoothies, protein shakes, specialty coffees and teas, but that does not include Starbucks, Johnny Rocket shakes and desserted soda floats. And it also includes all non-alcoholic beverages. So that could be spirits, wines, beers, and then also things like, if you wanted to have a virgin daiquiri or virgin whatever. So it includes those. So I would do the refreshment package again. However, the caveat is because I was with my mom, we were in the same cabin. She is not a heavy drinker of anything. So it kind of felt like a little bit of a waste for her. She really drinks a lot of coffee. So that's the only caveat I would say is that because you're required to have both people in the cabin use the refreshment package or get the same drink package, that's something that, for me, I would still do it again. And we actually are going to be going on another cruise at some point very soon. And I'm traveling with my mom again, and we're going to be doing that again. So next one might sound a little controversial, but it is a good question that I have been asked is, would you share a cabin again with your mom? I love my mom to death, and she knows this. We've had this conversation. Probably not. I would basically make sure that I actually got my own cabin, probably because there are just differences in our styles. And I'll put this out here as well. It really does depend on your budget as well. I'm going to say that because to cruise by yourself solo, usually there's solo supplements, so you're usually paying more, like 150% more. But if we could do it, definitely I would get my own cabin because, I would probably be able to sleep a little bit better. She's a night out. I'm not. She likes to leave the TV on. I don't. She likes it to be very warm in the room. I prefer it to be cooler. So there were just some major differences that were challenges for us. So the next question is, what would you do differently for a smoother boarding day? For this one, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I would have probably insisted that my mom get wheelchair assistance because there was a lot of walking to get just from the beginning of the terminal all the way onto the cruise ship. And she has mobility challenges. She can walk. She just can't walk long distances. So that's something that I would have insisted. And I will definitely say that if you're traveling with other members of your family or different generations, or you had traveling with anyone who has mobility needs, I would highly recommend that you have a conversation with them around getting that service, just because in most cruise terminals, there's usually a lot of walking, to get through the cruise terminal before you can get on the ship. The next question is, how did the ship's size affect your first day? Utopia of the Seas is a very large ship, and we did a lot of walking. Again, I would go back to the mobility challenges with my mom. We tried to do too much the first day, and she got completely worn out. I actually even got worn out. So I would say for me, I would probably take it easy that first day because, boarding day, usually you're up, you're excited. There's a lot you're doing on that first day, and there's a lot of activities on the ship, and you could actually, tucker yourself out or get tired pretty quickly. So I would probably minimize, not do as much as we did on that first day. Sorry, next question is, what would you change about your dining experience? So we had wonderful, especially restaurant dining experiences. We had wonderful included food, main dining room. We did the whole Utopia railway station. We did all that. One thing I would change is that there was just a lot of food. I would probably request half portions when I did eat, because we ended up like truly stuffing ourselves to the point where you just felt like you just had too much food. So that's one of the things I probably would change, is really to do a better job like portioning my food, when I went on the sailing. The next question is, would you change anything about how you approach wellness during your cruise? Yes, I would basically exercise more and make that more of a priority. I did use the walking track that they have on Utopia of the Seas, and it's really actually a nice walking track that you can kind of even see out on the ocean as you're walking. But I would probably make it more of a priority to not even just do the walking track, but to also use the gym, because I don't think that I did as much moving. I mean, I walked around the ship, but as far as focused exercise, I don't think I did as much as I should have done. And that is something that I've been prioritizing on my sailing since then. The next question is, what would you tell someone trying to fit everything in on their cruise? I would say don't do it. You cannot possibly get everything done, especially on a ship like Utopia of the Seas, or like if you're going on Icon of the Seas, or these just massive ships that are coming out lately. There's just they make it so that you can kind of have a family vacation or multi-generational vacation or couples, whatever vacation, all in one on the ship. It's like it's like a sailing resort on the sea, or sailing, entertainment, just a venue all across the sea. So you can't get everything done. So I would just say, figure out those major things that you like to do, which is what I should have done, I think, a better job at for myself, before getting on the ship. If you can, outline all those things so that when you get on board, it's a lot easier for you to make those things a priority. But you can't get it all done. And you have other opportunities to get back on the ship to sail again. So, and the last question is, in reflecting back, what mindset shift would have helped you the most? I think the biggest mindset shift really is to just try to relax and be present more during the cruise. I was spending a lot of time, focusing on my mom, making sure she was having a good time and she was okay. And just everything around, just making sure, just being that caregiver, that I don't think I spent a lot of time for myself to just focus on, okay, the wellness things that I talked about, exercise and just taking time out, slowing down. So those are probably the biggest mindset shifts I would make and have made a priority for my future sailings as well. So now that you've heard my top 10 questions that I've been asked from family, friends, and even some of my clients about my sailing on Utopia of the Seas, just wanted to let you know that I am here for you. If you have a future sailing that's coming up, I do offer complimentary cruise planning services. You can use a link in the description below to actually schedule a call with me. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. Also, too, up next, you can watch a video that I recorded about boarding Utopia of the Seas. There are some great tips there, and hope you're doing well and happy sailing. Thank you.